I'm working in Leeds at a company called Sec1. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about social media and how you can use social media, things like Twitter and LinkedIn, to get jobs and placements and graduate roles. So how many of you got a LinkedIn profile? They'll register for LinkedIn and they don't use it, so they don't network with people. So use LinkedIn to network with people online and physically as well, in person. Ask for recommendations. So just ask recommendations from lecturers and people that you think that you've worked for in the past. If it was work experience at school that you think could recommend you on your profile, that looks good to employers. So yeah, make sure, and I'm going to talk about this later as well, what you can do to use LinkedIn as well and how to improve your profile. Use social media to research. How many of you got Twitter? I'm guessing a lot of you have got Twitter. Use social media to research. What I mean by that is, on LinkedIn and Twitter, mainly Twitter, you'll find that there's a lot of people in your area that are quite prominent, have got a lot of followers, and talking about some of the things that are, jobs that are going for graduate roles, placement roles. And if you network with those people on Twitter and ask them loads of questions, that is really helpful. I found I got 2 interviews in my second year last year through Twitter, and there wasn't even a placement going. They just saw me on Twitter, following them, and they saw that as initiative. And they thought, right, we should give this guy a chance, we should interview him. Join LinkedIn groups. So if you follow the company, let's say you find an interview through the university for a company, and follow them on LinkedIn, they'll see that. And that's quite important. If they see that, it looks like you've took initiative, and they're going to see that at the interview stage when they're interviewing you. During, so this is during when you're looking for a placement. How many of you got a blog? Not many people. If you've got a blog, it actually shows what you're doing in your studies. So if you get a blog, it's quite helpful, and it will come up on Google. You'll find a lot of employers search your name on Google, and that will come up on there. So if you're doing that, you're literally guaranteeing yourself an interview, I would say, because not many students I know on my course have a blog. Consider creating digital guides. What's the business students mainly?
Enterprise, HR, finance, business.
What I mean by considering creating digital guides then is using YouTube or your blog, for example, and writing guides or tutorials for students or anyone in your industry. I mean, it will have to apply to your specific area of study. For me, I did computer security, so I was doing guides on how to hack SSL. It was more specific for what I do. So you'll have to figure that out one for yourself. So consider creating guides using YouTube and your LinkedIn, and then also publishing that on your LinkedIn profile as well, which I will get to. Join the company groups. That sort of reiterates what I've already just spoke about. After, connect with colleagues. Always try and connect with people that you've networked with. If that's the interview stage, you should probably be actually doing that before the interview stage, because they'll see that. Connect with them. Make sure that you've done that, and make sure you network with people. This is a lot of stuff that I've mentioned before. Also, continue to use social media professionally. I'm going to get onto that with Facebook as well, because a lot of employers, they'll look at your Facebook profile. If there's something on there they don't like, then they're not going to give you an interview. So my experiences. What I found was going to conferences and talking with people. I went down to London for a conference called B-Sides London, and I did a talk with one of my students, one of my peers, and that just was huge in getting me involved with other employers. I was on my LinkedIn, and I got loads of employers messaging me going, we're interested, and recruiters coming to me and going, would you like an interview? So I don't know if there's any business conferences. I'm not sure, you might know more about it.
Conferences, placement fairs, all
Mm-hmm.
sorts of different things.
Just go out there and talk with people. Talk with people, networking, and also try and do a talk like this or something like that. Not specifically like this, but try and do a talk on something you're passionate about. I did that and it worked massively. Link physical and virtual. I find a lot of people on LinkedIn, a lot of my students last year, they did this. They just bashed the connect button and they just connected with people they didn't even speak to. That's good, that gets your connections on LinkedIn quite high, but you need to make sure that you've networked with them and you know them. If you've got them on LinkedIn, great, but what are you going to do with that? So make sure you get out there, speak with people, email face-to-face, use all the channels that you can do, whether that's face-to-face, using Twitter and LinkedIn. View your interviewer's profile. This one's a massive one, actually. Before you get an interview, make sure, if you know the interviewer's name, you've got to know the name, obviously. Go on the LinkedIn profile. There's a feature on LinkedIn that when you look at somebody's profile, they get a notification via email by that. So if they've seen that the night before or a few days before, that is a massive incentive for them to think, oh, this person is he's looking at our profile and thinking, okay, they're taking that initiative and researching. It looks like you're doing the extra work, and obviously they'll get a notification of that. Differentiate and polish your profile. A lot of students just transfer. It looks like their CV on a LinkedIn. That's not what your LinkedIn's about. Your LinkedIn's about showing yourself off. Any projects you've done. It's like your CV but extended. Your CV you can only really put to 2 pages, but your LinkedIn can be as long as you like. So don't just copy stuff that's from your CV into your LinkedIn. Don't do that. The employees have already got your CV, so don't do that. Use your connections. Just make sure you're talking with people. I just found if I talk with people, I spoke with someone on Twitter, and I'd say to him, have you got any jobs going? They didn't, but he found out through his connections to find me an interview, and that massively helped. So he didn't get me an interview himself, but he spoke with other people that could get me an interview. So it's just networking. And make sure you publish your work as well. Anything important that you're doing outside of university, or even if it's in university, put it up on YouTube, publish it in any way you can, whether it's on a video blog, anything you're doing that can be on the internet and give you an online presence. I just mentioned Facebook earlier. This is mainly about open Facebook profiles. How many of you edited your privacy settings on Facebook? So you are aware, those ones that got the hands up, have you edited it so that people who aren't your friends can't see your pictures? Have you done that, yeah? A lot of employers will search your name, and if they can see pictures on there, you drunk at a nightclub, or for example, they might not like that and they won't give you a placement. So make sure you check your privacy settings. That's probably the main reason why a lot of employers don't give placements. Blanket send messages. If you're going to do what I did, I speculative applied to employers, because I found that the university couldn't find me a job for my area because I was really dedicated to doing something that I wanted to do in computer security, and it's quite a niche job. So I thought I'd send messages out. So you can find placements by yourself. You don't need to do it through the university, and I sent messages out. But don't blanket send messages. Don't just send messages, the same message to each employer. Employers are going to notice that. Customize it for the company, and they'll appreciate that. Twitter. How many of you use Twitter like your Facebook? And what I mean by that is you put what you ate for breakfast this morning. You just use it basically like your Facebook, but it's just on Twitter. Do you use it differently? Because what I find with Twitter is it's more in the middle, and that's more what this picture at the bottom left is referring to. Is Twitter is professional, but it's also sort of just a way you can communicate with people. Because you find with Twitter it's public, so don't try and put anything on there that employees can see. It's a bit like your Facebook. So it's a bit in the middle. LinkedIn's professional, Facebook's like your diary, Twitter's somewhere in the middle. Keep a happy medium between the two. This was a quick one that Michelle asked me to do. This is someone off my course, but I've had to anonymise it because they didn't want me to put their name on it. So this isn't a particularly good profile, if I'm honest. You need to make sure you've got a picture on there. The main thing on LinkedIn is put a professional picture on there. Not a picture from a night out in a nightclub where you're drunk. A professional picture, something that looks presentable to employers. And at the bottom here, he's a something consultant, and he's just basically put his role. Try and put more specific things that you've done. Put pictures up there of your projects and stuff like that. Just flesh it out. I spent a lot of time on mine. It took me a couple of weeks to finish it, and already after 3 or 4 months it's outdated. If you're keeping it updated, it's really good. Employees will see it. I'm getting messages constantly from recruiters, even though I'm already in a placement. I have to turn them down. LinkedIn's the main way, and it also has a jobs feature, LinkedIn. I managed to get an interview from just messaging a company for a junior position and said, have you got a placement position? And they said, no, we haven't, but would you like to come down for an interview? And they offered me the job. I couldn't take it because I wanted the one in Leeds. It was down in Woking, but there wasn't even a position for me. So if you're out there speculative applying, you'll be head and shoulders above your other students. That's what I've been asked to put up there. It's the Shoe Placements Twitter that you should follow. It's got loads of vacancies up there. Any questions?
Anybody feel that they ought to be doing a little bit more in terms of the networking stuff now and the online? Anybody feel that they need to kind of have a bit more poke at that?
Oh, see, it was worth it coming along now, wasn't it? Poor old sausage, he's been working up in Leeds today, so he's had to nip down after work to come and talk to you. So can we give him a really big thank you?